Meet Michael. He's 54 years old, earns $108,000 a year, stable job, decent house, 2 cars in the garage, one still being paid off. Kids are almost through college, wife works part-time. From the outside, Michael looks like a man who has it together. But there's a number he hasn't looked at honestly in years. His retirement account holds $193,000. At his current savings rate, he'll reach 67 with roughly $350,000, assuming the market cooperates, assuming he doesn't touch it, and assuming nothing unexpected happens between now and then. Financial advisors broadly recommend having 10 to 12 times your annual salary saved before you stop working. Michael would need at least $1.08 million. He's going to fall short by more than $700,000. Michael doesn't know this yet. He's been meaning to sit down and run the numbers properly. He just keeps putting it off. Now meet James. Same age, same city, same industry. James earns $91,000, $17,000 less than Michael every single year. His house is smaller, his car is older, there's no boat, no ongoing renovation project, no country club membership. James has $618,000 saved. He invests 22% of every paycheck without exception. By 67, James is projected to retire with $1.38 million in investable assets, a paid-off home, and zero consumer debt. He will likely never have a serious money problem for the rest of his life. Same decade of life, same career stage, practically the same neighborhood. One man is quietly on track for financial freedom. The other is quietly on track for a crisis he doesn't yet see coming, and won't until it's almost too late to do anything meaningful about it. The difference between them has nothing to do with income. It never did. The decade that feels like a reward but isn't. If you're somewhere between 48 and 59 right now, you're living inside a very specific financial paradox. You're earning more than you ever have. Your career is at or near its peak. The brutal early years, the starter home, the young kids, the entry-level paycheck, the constant feeling of barely keeping up, those are behind you. By every external measure, things should feel more settled now. And yet, there's a quiet unease that doesn't quite go away. Maybe it surfaces when you glance at your retirement balance and do rough math in your head. Maybe it's the creeping awareness that your company isn't as untouchable as it once seemed, and that finding a comparable job at 56 is not the same as finding one at 34. Maybe it's the slow realization that your kids cost more than you planned, for longer than you expected, and that the serious saving you were going to start, you just haven't started yet. Here's what makes this decade uniquely dangerous. The 50s feel like a reward era. You survived the hard part. You earned the nicer car, the kitchen renovation, the vacations that are actually comfortable instead of just affordable. Society validates all of it. Nobody looks at a 53-year-old man with a solid income and tells him to slow down. But the math doesn't care about validation. If you're 52 with $200,000 saved and you need $1 million to retire with any real comfort, you have 13 years to close an $800,000 gap. That is still doable, but only if you treat this decade as the sprint it actually is, not the cruise it feels like. Every year you spend coasting is a year that gap compounds in the wrong direction. The window is open. It will not stay open forever. What nobody in the financial industry will say out loud. The decade when men are most capable of building serious wealth is the same decade most carefully engineered to drain it. Peak earning years coincide almost perfectly with peak spending pressure. The bigger house you grew into, the cars that match your career level now, the tuitions, the weddings, the occasional bailouts, the lifestyle that expanded quietly alongside the income, so gradually you never quite felt it happening. Banks profit when you carry balances. Car manufacturers profit when you upgrade every 4 years. The entire consumer economy is built around the idea that your 50s are when you finally enjoy what you've worked for. And enjoyment, in their language, means spending. What nobody advertises is this. Your 50s are actually the highest leverage savings decade of your entire financial life. Money invested at 52 still has 15 years to compound before a traditional retirement age. A single year of serious saving at peak income can accomplish what 3 years of saving in your 30s couldn't. The math heavily rewards people who figure this out before 55. But there's no product to sell you on that idea, no commission in telling you to spend less and automate more. So most men find out too late, or never find out at all. The numbers that don't lie. Let's be specific, because vague doesn't help anyone. Take a man earning $100,000 at 50, with $150,000 already saved, investing 8% of his income, $8,000 a year, at a 7% average annual return. By 67, he'll have approximately $430,000, against a recommended retirement target of $1 million. He's short by $730,000. That shortfall doesn't feel real at 50, it feels catastrophic at 67. Now take the exact same man, same starting point, but he pushes his savings rate to 20%, $20,000 a year, and cuts his lifestyle spending to make it work. Same 7% return. By 67, he has approximately $820,000. The gap dropped from $730,000 to $180,000. A 12-point shift in savings rate eliminated $390,000 of retirement shortfall. That's the mechanism. That's the whole game. Not your investment picks, not your market timing, not whether you chose the right fund. The gap between what you earn and what you spend, invested consistently, is the only variable that truly determines your outcome. And here's what makes it sharper. Every dollar of lifestyle spending in your 50s carries a triple cost. First, you spend the dollar. Second, you lose the compounded growth that dollar would have generated. At 7% over 15 years, $1 becomes roughly $2.76. Third, you can cement a spending habit that follows you into retirement, where your income drops, but your expectations don't. A $1,500 monthly lifestyle upgrade at 50, a nicer car payment, a club membership, regular upgrades to things that didn't need replacing, costs $18,000 a year. Over 15 years at 7% compounded, that's nearly $450,000 in lost retirement assets. One quiet, comfortable decision at 50, nearly $500,000 by 67. The math doesn't punish dramatic mistakes, it punishes the slow accumulation of comfortable ones. Michael and James, the full story. At age 50, both men are in nearly identical positions. $150,000 saved, homeowners, kids almost through school, careers stable. Michael earns $112,000, James earns $94,000. Everything that follows comes down to one thing: what each man decides to do with the gap between what he earns and what he spends. Ages 50 to 53. Michael gets a promotion. Salary jumps to $118,000. He and his wife decide it's finally time for the kitchen renovation they've been talking about for years. $47,000 financed over 5 years. They upgrade both cars. Monthly expenses climb by around $1,800. His retirement contributions stay at 8%. He's saving and investing roughly $9,400 a year. James gets no promotion. His salary drifts modestly to $97,000. He drives the same car, his kitchen has the same cabinets it had 4 years ago, he bumps his contribution rate to 22% and sets up an automatic transfer of $800 a month into a brokerage account. He's saving and investing roughly $21,000 a year. By 53, Michael has $242,000. James has $412,000. The gap is now $313,000 on $18,000 less annual income. Ages 53 to 57. Michael's kids finish college. He helps his younger son with $22,000 toward a first apartment, a decision he feels good about. He and his wife take 2 international trips totaling $19,000. Savings rate stays at 8%. James's daughter gets married. He contributes $15,000 toward the wedding, takes 1 international trip for $7,000. Savings rate doesn't change, automatic transfers don't stop. By 57, Michael has $318,000. James has $631,000. The gap is now $313,000 on $18,000 less annual income. Ages 57 to 62. Michael feels the unease now. He runs the numbers seriously for the first time and doesn't like what he sees. He pushes his savings rate to 14%, a real sacrifice that strains the household budget. His balance starts growing faster. James does nothing differently, keeps investing 22%. His balance crosses $900,000 at 61 and retires a year early. By 62, Michael has $487,000, James has $991,000. Ages 62 to 67. Michael pushes hard, cuts expenses further, savings rate reaches 18% for the final stretch, difficult conversation.